Right, Ledges. Can everybody hear me? And what chart can you see? Hope you're all having a good weekend. Let me know if audio is clear. So today we'll be having David Bell on. Okay, my first time having somebody on, so you gotta excuse the technicals of having to join. I'll improve it for future ones. So this is gonna be like a test one. So after doing my part, I'm gonna have David Bell on, Macrodisiac he's called as well, on Twitter. Great guy. Known him for a few years, good few years now. And he's big on fundamentals, so he knows his fundamentals. Okay, the guy knows his shit. He's worked at numerous big brokers, and he's one of my FA guys in FX. So I'll try and ask him stuff about is it clearer than normal? I'm using different headsets, so I just want to see if it's normal. I'll ask him about how he. I mean, I know you're all into crypto, so I'm not going to go into an FX vibe, but how he can bring that in together. But anyways, we'll deal with that towards the end. So I'll do my part, and then hopefully if the shit works, I mean it's my first time, so I'm testing GoToMeeting. If that doesn't work, I'll use Hangout. But I'm getting used to it. Okay, it's my first time to bringing somebody on. Well, I hope you guys find benefit in it. So more than the TA and stuff I go through, hopefully we can bring a bigger context for it. But anyways, let's get cracking. Let's do the necessities first. So welcome to the weekly live Bitcoin update video. Before we start, I just want to say thanks to our sponsor PrimeXBT for making this happen. You can show them some appreciation by signing up to their platform using the link in the description. If you use the code TraderSZ, you'll also get a 50% deposit bonus. Finally, just a reminder that nothing discussed today constitutes financial advice, and you should always do your own research before doing any kind of investing or trading. Okay, so I'd appreciate if you could use the link in the description, PrimeXBT link. They sponsor the show, so if you click that link, they'll continue sponsoring me. If you don't, well, bye-bye. It's as simple as that. So yeah, check them out. I use them. They're decent. They even do FX as well, and they've got USDT, as a base currencies nowadays as well. So yeah, check them out. I like them. They're good liquidity providers as well, especially for FX. And TraderXZ in the house. So let's try get it to over 100 likes. There's over 150 of you guys to start off with. Let's try get it to 100 likes. It helps the YouTube algos. Okay, let's go. So, and hi to everyone. If I haven't mentioned your name, Mitch. Yes, I am with your mom, Mitch. Yes, she's under my desk. But anyway, let's start with the show. So, like I said before, Bitcoin. I am going to cover Bitcoin, like I said before, but the action is in the alts. Okay. And to be honest with you, Bitcoin, you know what? I haven't had a great week in Bitcoin, to be honest. One of the shorts I took, I had to cut it for a loss quite early. But it followed the alternative plan I went over last time. FUSD has been the one that's gone to plan. So, I mean, last week it was like this. It was looking like this. And I said, if it gets back below, briefly going to go over this, okay? And maybe cover some alts because I'm not really seeing much clarity. I'll give my view on Bitcoin. But it's at that point where I actually think it's just range bound. But anyways, below this blue box, I said, okay, in violation above the blue box. It came down. Remember this level? I haven't touched anything. It swung failure. As soon as this swing fails the key level and push back up, that's either your cutoff sign. Because I said that if it makes the clean break and holds below here, then we can play it towards there. It didn't do that. It just pushed straight back up, so should have at least cut it off. And the moment it reclaimed, that same blue box was used as support. Where did it push towards? This level here. Okay, so whether you took that or not, it doesn't matter. I mean, I did take it. I didn't take this long here. In fact, I actually did short it here. I thought we'd be getting... I thought this was a deviation at first. So, yeah, I had to cut it early, and I posted about that on Twitter anyway. But yeah, small scratch on that. But yeah, nothing else on Bitcoin for me. So bigger picture, what's happening? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same levels. We've got the quarterly range high here. So if you remember from the last stream, okay, quarterly range high, quarterly range low, and quarterly mid range. That was one range we were using. And the second range we were using was this range high as February high, which is capping the market now. This is a range low. And here, this is just a smaller range. Okay. So to keep it simple, what happens from here? What I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly shift over to a clean chart first. Okay, I'm going to shift over to a clean chart because we've got a new month. And then we're going to see, does this range help me? more, or does this range? So if you see me post on Twitter, I'll use different ranges, okay? And it depends on which one's being respected, the levels being respected more at the time, okay? It's not I'm fitting my bias, whichever levels. No, well, technically yes. If something's gonna fit my bias and it's respecting the levels, I'm gonna fucking use it, okay? But I'm not using it just to change the show, this, that, the other. It depends on what levels are being respected. But anyways, let's start with the monthly. Okay, what's happening? I mean, quarterly. Okay, not much happening just yet. Okay, just 1 month in. Look at this monthly. Now this monthly, okay, this bearish bullish. Listen, I couldn't give a fuck how the monthly closed at this point. It means nothing. All I'm seeing is the monthly closing below my key level, which is this level here. And that is my key level. Why is that key level? Because we realized that was the initial high. We closed above it. We tried to deviate again, push back below. This is not this. I'm not saying I'm not saying bearish, but it's still below our actual range high, which is our range high from here. See out there? It's still using that as resistance. Is my audio not working? Is somebody saying my audio not working? Can somebody confirm if my audio is working or not? Let me know, because I'm using something different. So if it's not working, please let me know. I forgot. I gotta wait for like 5-10 seconds between the lag from when I speak till you guys can hear it. So one person saying they can't. What's going on? Is it clear? Okay, so whoever's saying it's not working is just you. You're gonna have to fix up yourself. Okay, I can't do much about it. So that's that one key level, and the other key level obviously is the previous month's high before April, which is March high. Okay, thanks for that. I don't know. It's the guy. Whoever's saying it is you. Okay, so that's that. Now, at what point do I get comfortable on longs? Let's start with the easy peasy scenarios. Okay, forget the range bound plays. Let's start with the easy peasy scenarios. So if I'm saying that, well, on the lower time frame, what's that looking like? So I'm going to shift between charts, okay? And I do that regularly. And I said before previously, well, why can't we have a scenario where technically this is pushing towards range high? At what point do I feel comfortable on my longs, okay? Well, as if it reclaims back above here and holds. This is just a move towards resistance. Yes, if you got long here, happy days. That's nice. That's nice you got long here. But that's resistance to the tick. We've respected that, okay? Hence, that's why you love my accent. Okay. What's my accent? My accent's from Birmingham, England, Birmingham, UK. So, yeah. So, this is the resistance. You got to be careful of that. So, what do we do here? Okay. And like I said to you, I'm not bullish or bearish. I'm macro. I'm bullish, obviously. Macro could be bullish, and it comes into like the 30Ks, and I'm still bullish. Okay. So yeah. So what happens here? Do we come back within the range here, or do we break out? Is the question. I don't know. But what I do know is we're gonna plan ahead. So easy peasy scenario would be is if it. Oh, I got rid of my levels. Apologize. Is if it comes back above here, okay, whatever it does, whatever the pullback is, whatever it does here. If it gets back above it this time, we should not be coming back above that, okay? If it gets back above it this time, NJ and XR just beat whoever's chatting shit. Can't be bossed with fucking dickheads. And it claims and holds, so at this point, if it's not a deviation, then that would be my long, and we'll go towards there. I'm just using naked price action for now, before we get into more detail. And that's really as clear as it gets for me for now. The other one is, well, what if this is resistance and we start pushing down from here? Okay, well, we're gonna mark out two plans, okay? And at this point in time, I'm not confident shorting. I'd rather just go with what's clear. FUSD is the clear one for me, and the other alts, okay? And we may cover a few alts you guys requested. So yeah, that's more or less the plan. So having said that, which range level is getting respected? You saw me in Allen Rock. When the fuck did you see me in Allen Rock? I haven't been there in years. But anyways, that would be this. We're going to stick with this chart. So that would also line up with this trend line here. See, remember this trend line here? So basic SR would be if we smash above here. That's that other range high. If it smashes back above here and holds, then that's my long towards that SR level. That's capping the market here. And that's my long there, level to level as first target. If it's gonna then gun for it, then this is my second target. So is that clear? Scenario one, okay? The breakout scenario one. So there would be my trigger. Listen, if you're gonna fuck about, then I'm gonna kick you out. Simple as that. I take it seriously. When I'm explaining something, people want to learn, people want to listen. If you're here to chat shit, get the fuck out of here. Simple as that. Okay? So that's that. And don't come in here saying, can you do this, that, the other. Listen. 1, shut the fuck up. 2, listen. 3, if I want to, I'll go over it. If you keep asking me a certain coin, there's more likely I'm probably going to kick you and not do that coin. So yeah, just listen. So is everybody clear with that? Okay? That's scenario 1. Target 1. And if it's got legs then, okay? So if it came into here, start breaking up and cut it, knowing full well that if it then got back above here, if you pull back, then go back above here and held, the same setup here, I'll be looking for it there, target 2. And then we'll start talking about extension levels, which are 68.95k and 73k. Okay? That's that there. Scenario 2 is, okay, what happens here? Well, we know previously, okay, so if I shift between the charts, okay, well, this is, actually, I'm going to stick to this chart. Let's just stick to one because otherwise it'll be confusing. I'm going to get rid of the text here. Okay, this is a weekly open from a while back. Okay, and that's holding as a SAR. Scenario 2 is, okay, identify the smaller range. Okay, what point would I say, okay, this is going to go lower? Let's go back to this level here. This was the flipping point here. This is also the midpoint between these two range levels here. Okay, so scenario 2 for me would be, well, if it's going to go lower, where are the stops resting? These here, these lows here, in towards this consolidation. So that would be a magnet for price. Okay, so at what point would I feel comfortable shorting? Well, here, I don't know, because for all I know, this could be SR. For all I know, this could, like, you know, whether they retest this or not, this could be, because this is SR, isn't it? Resistance, turn to support. And if you flip that, that's my long then. In this area is my area where I'm unsure. Okay, so if that was the case, well, what I would wait for is to reclaim or get back below support, let it turn resistance. That then becomes a deviation of the midpoint of this range. Okay, resistance then should then turn to resistance again, and that would be my shorting opportunity towards here. This is just a level to level play within the range. This is not some big swing trades. Okay, I don't know direction wise while we're in the range. I don't know. But that would be my level to level play from there towards here. Okay? Is that clear? So that would be my play. And then the secondary objective will be, if it does smash below here, then we'll deal with it at the time. But that's the only clear place. I'm going to focus more on FUSD at the time. So that's all I've got for Bitcoin, really. I honestly have no clear view other than that. I'm going to mark out 10 different scenarios for you. Okay? And you know, it won't mean nothing. All I can do is take actionable ideas. Where would I step in? I'll step in if it smashes below here. From there towards there is my range to play, and from there towards here is my range to play. If it breaks out above there, we can deal with the higher time frame. And Bitcoin is in such a situation where you have to be trading. It's not every day you get a setup. Sometimes I wait days, weeks for a clear setup. Fuck the head and shoulders. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work. Okay, it means nothing. Context is what's important. Okay. Chart patterns on its own mean nothing. Find all head and shoulders. Tell me, are you taking it based on head and shoulders? The pattern on its own? Are you taking that head and shoulders based on the context? If the context was bullish and I was bearish, sorry, and I got a head and shoulders, then I'd say, okay, probability of that's high. But if I got it in a bullish, if I got head and shoulders in a bullish market, well, I'll be looking for the head and shoulders to fail, i.e. pattern failure. So I'm open to all scenarios, okay? So that's that. Secondary scenario would be, well, if that's my level 2, that's my one range, that's the other range, okay? Then if it came here, got above it, okay, normally you're going to get that. You can get some sort of reaction at the first retest of consolidation. And then if market then decided to get back below here, well, that says to me, this price action says to me that we've attempted to go back above. Market was not interested. It came back below. This is a deviation confirmed, and that means we're back below here, and that becomes a deviation. At that point, that is a shorting opportunity back down towards range lows to take out these lows there. Okay, so again, I have no idea clear directional play. I'm leaning more towards range bound plays until proven otherwise, but I'm prepared. Where am I taking action? This range level to this range level, this range level to this range level, and this range to this range. Outside of that, I've got no clue. I've got no anything outside of that. Is that clear? So that's Bitcoin for me. Okay, I can find cases for both sides. For now, I'm very cautious with what happens here. I can find the case for both sides. So if I'm like that, then fuck it off. I'm going to be cautious. So let's mark out okay. If it does smash above, what would be objectives then? So let's get that high to this low. Okay, and what we're going to do is say if this is the low and say this is a push up higher, I'm going to have to be prepared. So now we've got a new leg to work with. I've got to have a fib extension there, so you can do it neatly yourself. I'm just drawing it here and a fib extension here. Okay, at what point do I get comfortable that we're going to get breakout? So let's get rid of that now. It would have to be if price, so this is our region of deviation. Okay, there's a deviation. If it gets back above here, so that's our level to play with, like I mentioned. If it then smashes back above here, then my targets will be towards here and then there. And that is the range I'm going to be working with. Okay. Clear with the plan? What do I mean by deviation? Check my previous videos. Simple as that. There's over 350 of you and you can only give me 119 likes. Fucking hell. Come on. Push up to 200 at least. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. More or less that. Like I said, if you, when it's range bound, my levels are dynamic. I do change them regularly or mark a short-term scenario. So for that, make sure you follow me on Twitter, or even better, my Telegram group is free. Okay, and we'll do that. No, I can't look at icon. What did I say to you at the beginning? I said I'm doing Bitcoin and you're telling me about icon. Bad idea. Okay, if I asked what coin you want, I'll do it then. If not, yeah. So that's all I've got for now, honestly. And then, you know, I mean, people can throw shit like this, or well, that's a trend line breaks. Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. So even if it is right, where did I say? Even if you are going to use that trend line, okay, where would it be? The big breakout play would be above here. Okay, so anything even up to here is still for me range bound, and I'm happy to play range level to range level. And then if that breaks, then we get a big breakout. So I'll post on my Twitter feed if I get a clean breakout. Again, I can bullshit to you guys and say moon only and mark up bullish scenarios, but that's gonna do nobody good. Okay, that's just cloud chasing. I'm not here to cloud chase. I'm just here to tell you what I think of the market. If I think it's clear, it's clear. If it's not clear, I move on to something that is clearer, which is gonna be FBTC now. Sorry, FUSD. So let's move on to FUSD. So before FUSD, let's do FBTC. So last one on FBTC was this plan here. We were trading around here, and I said break out of this trend line. The key thing was this pivot here. See that? SR flip. Deviation, once go back below, sold off. Resistance, resistance. And I've spoke about these channels, so that is more explained more in last review. So basically, retest. That was your long then. Go to the lower time frame. We had a target in mind, which was there. And we're going to be cautious here. Very, very cautious here. Now, bigger picture, is it bullish? When I say cautious, cautious about pullbacks. Okay? So this is going to be a big area. If we do smash below above this blue box, we're probably going to head towards there. Now, my higher time frame doesn't change. Okay? Yes, I do use order flow, but we're not here to talk about order flow. Those are more for my scalping, day trading. Order flow on the higher time frame doesn't make a difference to me as much. Higher time frame is higher time frame. That's more smaller time frame nuances for me. But it doesn't make a difference. Okay? The way I trade anyway. Okay? So, there was the retest of SR. You got your deviation. Once you push back up, there's your trigger. If you've been watching me long enough, you'll know after the deviations form, that's my invalidation. And that was enough for you to take that as first target. And then up to here, the second target. Now, if FBTC gets to this level, we're going to have to watch it. Is it going to smash through it? I think we're probably going to create a new range. Okay? And what I base that off is here. So previously, when we smashed back above here, okay? When we smashed above here, this was the first SR level. So we broke above whatever it's going to do, which we're doing now. That's the first resistance area here, right? And then it came back down, all the way back down in towards here even. So whatever the pullback's going to be, this could still be valid. This could still do something like this. Low, high, higher low, higher high. It could still do a higher low and come back here, scare the fuck out of 99% of you right now, and still then be bullish, just like it did here. Okay? So this is why if you break it down to ranges, and the ranges help you identify on the short term, where am I wrong? Because if it breaks the range low on the short term, you say, okay, I'm going to hold the fuck back. I'll cut it. I'll wait for it to get to the next level. At that point, you know, if it was to do this, you know, you're wrong below here, you can step in towards here. So I'm going to be watching this carefully now, okay? So if it comes into here, and if I start seeing weakness in FUSD here, that means I'm going to get the fuck out. Until we reclaim and flip this level. The moment this level got flipped, then we rocket launched, okay? I'm expecting the same thing here then. If it reclaims this level, that's going to be my play. At that point, if this gives me a trigger there, that's going to be my trigger for FUSD. Okay, so this is just a marker as to what I'm looking at. Let's go to FUSD now. So FUSD had two plans. I go, listen, I don't know. If Bitcoin comes down, then I'm prepared for the downside scenario of market coming in towards here. If Bitcoin goes up, then where am I going to go? Watch last week's video. I even tweeted it. Where's my trigger plan? Above here. That same blue box I was looking for resistance for a breakdown. Instead, it reclaimed. So if you weren't happy here, I said, where do I take the long range high? Look at that. These are the same levels from last week to the tick. It respected it there. There's your long. You're wrong below here and pushed up to your first objective and it keeps pushing higher. Okay, so what do we do now is the question. Okay, so having said that, where's my next objective? Well, this is where it comes down to trend continuation. At what point would I say, okay, I'm completely wrong on the idea? Okay, and we start off with marking out invalidation areas. Well, we know our range high, which was previously April high, last month's initial high of last month, okay, was here. So what you gotta remember is, let's clean the chart up and let's think of it from an SR point of view. Always think of it from SR point of view. This is very bullish to me, okay? Any dips, if we do get lucky to buy dips into here, it's gonna be blind buys for me. But let's mark it out realistically, okay? Let's remove everything. Remember, pure SR. So that is technically going to be our range low. If we did come down towards here, that is going to be our range low. This is the consolidation that we last retested to push it up. Okay? After that, so this is how we're going to be aligned in the sun, because if it breaks below here, what is going to be our objective or next step to watch is going to be here. So automatically, that's a range. Because that's clear. It's a deviation before. It got back below, retest, sold off. Resistance, resistance, resistance flips, turns to support. If you watched last week's stream, you should have been long here right now. You at least first target hit 2770, anything else was bonus. Okay, so we're gonna deal with that. So scenario one is, if we do get that deep pullback scenario, then this is gonna be area I'm watching. Now, trigger plan. Everybody wants to know trigger plan. Say this is SR level. What does that mean? Well, let's mark our two scenarios. One is, if it comes into here, we start showing bullishness. Well, I'm going to go long here. Where's my invalidation? Clean break below here. If it cleanly breaks below here, I'm wrong. We're going to push towards here. We'll see what the reaction we get. Okay? So if it comes into here, we start showing bullishness. Then I'm going to get long. And whatever the high is, that's going to be my objective. Before I do that, let me get my levels on. I forgot to draw my levels on for targets. Because normally I work backwards and say, okay, where am I targeting? And then step in. So, okay, let's draw that high to this low. So for those that keep asking me the same question week in, week out, how do you draw your profit targets? I'm showing you now how I do it. So the next objectives on me, I'm just showing swing high to swing low. Again, you can use any swing. It doesn't really matter. Okay, they all show whichever one gets respected. So okay, I've got that high to that low. And then if I was to draw from that high to this low, which one's getting respected? They more or less show the same thing. It doesn't really matter. Okay, it's just a technique you can use. You can also use techniques such as, if this is one range, you copy that range up. Okay, it's up to you how you wish to do it. Anyways, so we got a basic target of 30/20s as the next objective. Okay, 30/20s. So what if market doesn't come into here? Okay, what if market doesn't come into the level I want for a pullback? Then there's another technique I use, which is trend continuation. Okay, i.e., for example here. So what happens when the market breaks out? Resistance becomes support, resistance becomes support. It keeps doing that until we get the flush. Now I can either wait for the flush, or I keep playing resistance becomes support. It's as simple as that. Now, at what point would I be afraid to play resistance become support? Is if FBTC gets into there. So as long as that hasn't been met, okay, what I'll be looking for is a long scenario on here. Okay, I'll be looking for a long scenario on FUSD. So where will be my long scenario on this? Well, what's capping the market right now? Let's work backwards. Okay, I keep going back to this. So resistance here. Okay, what would be a nice target area to reach for? I mean, if it was to pull back, I'd say around here. Okay, because it's done the deviation. It's taken out this low here. Okay, so if it was to come into here, I'll give me a bullish setup. As long as my target hasn't been met, okay, we're good. Understood? So say this came back for whatever reason, and I got a long scenario here. I quickly then shift over to FUSD. And I look at FUSD and say, okay, what are the possible levels? Well, we know 27.70. Remember that level I mentioned initially? Okay, was a resistance level. Well, this is us now breaking it down to smaller ranges. So if this then pull down in towards here, okay, invalidation will be a clean break below here, the blue box, and say FBTC then gave me a SR. So this is an initial low. That then becomes a deviation of that low. And then if this set up for a long and FBTC set up for a long, then I've got my target in mind. It'd be about 30-20s. Is that clear? If you want to answer, so somebody asked, is there a correlation between BTC pairs and USD pairs? So what you do is you pull up a BTC pair, you pull up a USD pair, and overlay them, and you'll have your answer. Simple as that. Instead of asking me, you can just do that yourself. Okay, so is that clear for everybody? FUSD. The other way is, okay, trend continuation is, we've got a high here. What is this high? Is this a previous day's high? Let me just quickly check. This is okay. We've got previous day's high. This is strong trend continuation. You got resistance there. Okay. Now at this point, we don't have much of a target to reach for, but it is where it is. Now, initially what we have is we have a run toward these highs and reclaim. Okay, see here. So see, take this level as this level, right? It pops up. If it were consolidated, then broke out, that would be my long. Okay? There. Does FBTC following your path why both are dropping time market you're asking question. Okay. So that's that there. So if you had to held up, so now it's created a range, that's the trigger there. So what I'll be looking for is they pop up. Most likely what you usually, unless it just spikes up there one go, it pokes, gets back below, maybe takes out some stops here. And then once it pokes above and then holds, so it pokes above here, breaks out, retests, that's your minimum buy, invalidation level there. Same thing would be here towards there. Okay. I mean, if we have points where I'm getting cautious because of FBTC. Now, if that FBTC target was higher, I'd be okay with it. And then we're gonna see, okay, at this point, okay, do we respect this level and break down, or do you blast off through it? It's at a point where I'm very, very cautious because I'm unsure because of Bitcoin. I'm unsure because FBTC coming into massive resistance. Now, if we were trading above this blue box, that'd be okay. That's fine. We got much higher. And long term, I do believe much higher. But not everybody's. This is trading. It's not. I'm not hodling. It's from a trading perspective. So yeah, I mean that's more or less what I can say on this part. Okay. Is that clear for now? I mean, unfortunately, I can't really say much. Okay, it's just one of those weeks. Where it is like that, but what I'll be looking for is, okay, the moment we can clear this, clear this blue box here, okay, coming to here, however deep the pullback's gonna be, the moment we can clear above here and hold, at that point, that's when I think FUSD really blasts off, and 3K will be a thing of the past. It's just right now we're at a point where I really don't know. In the sense where how much can it really push before the deep pullback, okay, and yeah, that is the reality right now. Okay, so on a higher time frame perspective, okay, if I was to clear this, okay, if I look at the daily, I mean, you gotta remember, right? Look what we've had here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up candles. If it's 7 up candles, what the fuck are you expecting from the market? Okay, so those level to level plays are short term. Eventually, like here, one, okay, we had a couple of up candles, then we had a deep dip. Okay, so what I'll be looking for is in future. Ideally from a swing perspective, okay, so we've got that level there, and then we've got, I'd say, I don't know, we've got these highs here, okay, so any dip, so if we do get that big flush like I was talking about, okay, and then we get a deviation back above it, so example of that is here, we get the flush, we get the deviation back above it, your longs, and that would be my long to wherever the high would be. Okay, honestly, it's at that point where I'm not gonna lie to you and just put sugarcoat it. I'm cautious, and I really do want that flush because it makes life easier. Once you get that flush, it's easier to start longing. When you don't have that flush, it's kind of hard. Okay, that's what I can say. So level to level, like I mentioned, And then eventually, if we do get that flush, then that's going to be that long. Okay? Is that clear? I mean, when was the last time we had this? Go back to your charts and count how many up days did we have before we had a big flush. Even here, you know, okay, we got this. Even then, we contracted a bit there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It just makes me feel like we're going to get a flush. And if it keeps going like here, if it keeps going up and up and up, go through any asset class, you'll find that it usually leads to a top. Unless they grind up higher, okay? So that's that. That's what I can say. I think we may get a flush very soon, okay? Just, you know, just do the maths. When was the last time you had consecutive up candles? Okay, everybody wants to be long here. I want to be long. Okay, but you gotta accept the reality. When this shit happens, you're gonna get that pullback soon. Okay, so that's FUSD, XRP BTC. Okay, notice that, and I'll do updates on my Telegram. So if you follow my Telegram, you'll know regular updates. XRP BTC, we were here the last time. We broke above. Where was my long? This level here, towards there. XRP BTC. If we do get back above this on the daily. Okay, I'm waiting for this. If we do get back above this blue box, and that's why I'm leaning more toward breakout plays, and then that would be my play. So if that gets back above that, and then when this sets up, and then XRP USD sets up, then there. But right now, I'm very, very cautious on my longs here. I'll do one pair, okay, BNB. I'll do a few pairs that I like, okay, that I really like, and then we'll get David on. Okay, so BNB, what I'm looking for is, what are my range levels for this? So I'm gonna go over. Oh fuck you, mom! What happened there? BNB is one of those pairs where it's technically looking clear to me. Okay, you know, while Bitcoin and Ethereum do their thing, I think other alts will probably take over, in my opinion. So this is my range high. Here, what's my next objective? Because this is my future range. All I've done is extended this range up towards here, okay, and that's the midpoint. So if we can, so we've done the first deviation, push back low, took out the stops, deviation here, smash back above, hold, the entry trigger I've shown, target 1, target 2. That's BNB done. Let's move over now. Let's do one more. I'll do alpha. Alpha's been one of my mind, and then let's see if and then we'll call that a day and get some macro stuff in. Alpha USD, I've broken this range down, February high to February low. So if we can get a pullback, okay. Why do I say that? Because when the new week starts, we have to get pullbacks, right? We have consecutive up candles. Even this had consecutive up candles. Okay, so if we can get some sort of pullback here and then get back above, reclaim and hold, then that's going to be my long target. Okay. Yes, FX is my main market. Crypto is my secondary market. That's that there. Is there any other? Name one pair, and I'll do it. If we get to 200 likes, I'll do one more pair. We've got 181 at the moment. We'll do one more pair, and that's it. LTC, okay, no. LTC USD. Oh fuck. LTC USD. Actually, let me do LTC BTC because I really like LTC BTC. LTC, I think it's been quiet, but it's just, I think it's getting ready for a breakout soon. LTC, like I said before, the moment we get back above 2019 low is when we expand. Okay, so far this could be a possible deviation. I think once we can get back above here, I think that's when we start the blast off. Okay, for LTC, it's the BTC pairings being very, very shit right now. So the LTC USD pair. Okay, what do we have here? So what I've done is I've mapped out April high to April low. What I would love to see on LTC, okay? And after it happens, I've noticed this behavior about it. If we can quickly dump. So what I've got is April's high to April's low. And you can see April's mid-range, how important that has been. If we can get a flush down, take out these lows. So if we deviate back above, okay, that would be my level to level long towards there. And if we reclaim the mid-range then, because those stops have been taken, I think then we start heading towards there, and that would be my long then towards there as first objective. Maybe consolidate here for a while and then take out new highs, depending on if LTC BTC can also get back above as well. Okay, so ideally I'd love one more flush lower, take out these lows. Like we'll try to find your example. Can't find one right now, but yeah, that's what I'll be looking for. Okay, Last one. Last one. Maybe we'll do Luna. I promised someone I'll do Luna. Because let's do Luna from last week. So go back to my view on Luna from last week. I've lost my levels, haven't I? So it's come towards this level now. I think Luna looks alright, you know. So we've come to this SR level. It was here last week, if you remember. It was at our range high. And you come back down. So what I'll be looking for is if Luna can do something like this and get back above. I think this looks quite solid, to be honest. I don't know what the fuck Luna is or doing, but it seems to be the one that's being rallying hard. Target and then target. Okay, so there. That would be a nice, decent play. That would be. Pull back down, push back up, hold. There. If this triggers, they get the Luna USD pay. Okay. Okay. Yep, that's about it. Aussie USD. No, not Aussie USD. Okay, SXP last one. Last one. And I have to get David on now after this. Because the guy's been waiting. I can see him waiting. So we'll do SXP. SXP is one of my main ones. I will leave some bag on this. And I did promise, maybe in a week or two we'll start doing. I'll do one session where I just do alts, okay? In like an hour or two. But Trader Main comes on anyway after me. Trader Main goes over loads. But yeah, SXP I think is a minute now. And I spoke about this before, where we got 2019 low here. We got this yearly level here. So see this blue line here? Oopsie daisy, too much girth on that. The last time found resistance cleared and held, it pushed up toward 2020 open, then this range high here. But we deviated it, we got back below it. I think this is ready. On this own merit here, and even the USD pairing, I think I'm long here from ages ago. I think this is the next objective here, invalidation here. Okay, that's it. Okay, that's enough with this. Okay, let me check. David, you there? Let me DM him. Unmute. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Fuck, what have I done? Hello, David, can you hear me?
Hello, mate. How's it going?
It's good, it's good. Can everybody else confirm if they can hear David? So, I'm gonna make you organizer, right? And see if you can, if you want to share your screen or anything.
Very well.
Everybody, let me know if you guys can hear David. If he needs to put his voice up, whatever. Hopefully he can. I'm watching the YouTube chat, so.
Oh shit!
Yeah. I mean, keep YouTube muted. I mean, they've got a lag, so when you watch the YouTube chat, can you guys hear David? Yeah, Daniela, Mohammed, NJ. Let me know if you can hear David. Yep, is he loud and clear? Okay, they can hear you. So you should be able to screen if you want to share your screen. So this is my first time bringing somebody on. I've got improvements to make. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I want to say is after this video is finished, whatever question I asked Dave is my test show with him, and whatever improvements you got after this finished in the comment section, let me know what you want to ask. I'm hoping we'll bring David on a few times, and he can cover macro side of stuff. So yep. So welcome on. First time having you here. I've known you for years, haven't I? How long has it been?
What was that? Sorry, mate.
How long have I known you for?
Last bit.
I'm trying to work out how many years I've known you for.
Probably like 5-6 years now, I think.
Yeah, it's been around.
Because we were definitely talking when I was broken.
Yeah.
And that was maybe 5-6 years ago. Yeah. So yeah, fairly long time now, half a decade, long time actually.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean.
But,
This is gonna be like a chit chat one, okay? So I'm not gonna fluff around what you've been doing, but just give a brief introduction. What's your trading background, just to get so everybody knows who you are.
So I started when I was started when I was 17. You're doing your A levels. I was doing an A level in economics, and you get hit with adverts when you're searching for interest rates, stock market, economy, that kind of thing. And then a broker's advert popped up on YouTube. So I clicked it because it said you could trade, 10 grand risk free. It sounds all great. And whatever. What's that, mate? No. It was an actual broker. I think it might have been 212. I can't really remember which one it was specifically, but you run up that initial fake amount of money to a shitload, think you're amazing, and then you do your ass when you actually use real money.
Yeah.
Then I went to uni, and then my real interest came where I was looking at the market, and the professors and lecturers, they were saying all of their theory that wasn't actually happening in reality. I think it was really pertaining to quantitative easing at that time. So I was like, well, you know, I'm interested in this because I'm being told that the market's meant to work this way, the economy's meant to work this way, but the market isn't actually showing that. And then, yeah, since I've you know, I started off being more of a day trader. Now I look more at broader themes over a longer period. And that's probably where I really want to get into talking about Bitcoin today, because what I'm noticing is that there's kind of like a reflexivity thing going on at the moment, whereby we're seeing institutional adoption, okay, and we're seeing institutions perhaps start to use crypto and Bitcoin specifically more in their portfolios. But what that means then is that these institutions look at the macro factors a lot more. You know, they look at they're forced to look at liquidity profiles. They're forced to look at kind of the broader picture, you know. So this is where I'm thinking that, you know, broader macro factors are now going to become much more sensitive in the crypto sphere. And for me personally, that makes, you know, that's fantastic. It makes it,
okay.
makes it really, really
I'm going to interrupt you there, and I'm going to let you carry on. So get used to this. But so we've got a crypto audience here, right? And you know, we can talk about this.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I brought you on, because the purpose of bringing David on, everybody, is so he can bridge everything. So the more adoption that happens, you know, especially institutions coming in, you're going to get more of, you know, the bigger players from traditional markets come in, how they think about the markets, how markets from traditional markets react. So this is where, you know, that's why I'm saying if you guys can comment to what questions you like, Dave can address it in future shows. So one thing I wanted to ask is, you know, I'm not sure if you remember, but like in crypto today, we got a lot of Bitcoin's correlated to the USD, CNH, whatever, Chinese yuan, and then sometimes it's correlated to gold, sometimes correlated to ES. Could you break that down? Like, at what point, when do we look at the correlation with Bitcoin with traditional markets, and when do we look at them? Which asset classes we look at them, and when not to look at them? I know it's a broad question, but how we can address that.
Yeah, no, cool. So, I mean, can you guys see my screen?
And then I wonder, what the only thing I'm seeing from your end is my chart. You've got my chart up.
Can you see it now?
Okay, yes. I'm going to try my best, but yeah, for next time we're going to have this sorted better. But can you guys see David's screen? The little you can see. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, so I can see the screen. You've got this like a chart up, top drivers, currents.
Yeah, that's it. So basically, this is from a quant firm. You know, you can search for any asset, and you can find out what macro factors are moving this asset class at the time, or this product, whatever. So what you're seeing here is the top drivers, and a driver is defined as the number that you're seeing. So they're Fed QT expectations. QT stands for quantitative tightening, and what you're seeing is a one standard deviation move. So that's a move away from the mean. It shows you the percentage move in the model value. Okay, so what you're seeing at the moment is that the top driver for a downside move in Bitcoin is the Fed indicating that they're going to tighten the market. Okay, we've seen the rally over the last year predominantly due to the liquidity that's been pumped in. So, you know, when people talk about M2, for example, and they're saying, oh, it's all bad, it's all bad. I don't think Bitcoin would have been driven higher without that. Okay, so on the other hand, then you've got a positive driver. Now, I'm not 100% sure how much I would say that there's a kind of cause on this one. I think it might just be more correlation, but it's showing that Japanese 5-year inflation expectations is one of the largest positive drivers for an upside move in Bitcoin. I don't really like that one. I think what I might consider to be quite important here is the US 10-year yield. Okay. We've seen over the last year that the US 10-year yield moving higher has had a really tight correlation with Bitcoin. Now, you could translate that into being more due to perhaps a stronger economy going forward, whereby people are more confident to take risk.
Right.
And obviously Bitcoin, you know, it's a really, really volatile asset class. So people have been like, yeah, fuck it, you know, we're gonna jump into it because we can see the upside going. But I think the one to pay attention to at the moment from a macro perspective is this Fed quote quantitative tightening expectations. Reason being is that the Fed are currently indicating that they're going to tighten at the Jackson Hole meeting in August. I think it's the end of August. And what I mean by tightening there is tapering. So obviously they've done a shitload of QE, and now what they want to do is maybe start to reduce those asset purchases a little bit per month.
Right.
Okay. What that has a knock-on effect on is liquidity. Now, after 2008, obviously Bitcoin was brought about by Satoshi, probably as a response to the great financial crisis. You know, fuck banks because they've messed up so much. And post 2008, obviously we had a load of liquidity being pumped into the markets as well. So that's how stocks just kept going higher. You know, it was a real buy the dip situation.
Yeah.
So you've got to think that conversely now, after all this liquidity that's been pumped in, perhaps there is a broader macro factor to really, really consider that might take precedence in the short term, which is the Fed indicating that they're going to pull some liquidity out of the market.
Right.
I mean, I'll show you something that I drew up the other day.
So what do you think happens
So
to Bitcoin
this is based.
Yeah, carry on.
So Bitcoin will probably face some, yeah, it will probably face some downside. You know, I think that, do you know what I think the most important thing with Bitcoin is to try and kind of subdue that left tail risk. You know, and my thoughts are that the market is very one-sided still. You know, we're going through some chop at the moment, but the problem is that not many people see that potential macro risk. You know, they might just be looking to keep buying dips, but there's, you know, once in a blue moon, the market absolutely shits the fucking bed. Yeah. And you can imagine what happens when all of that leverage is one-sided. You know, people get absolutely smashed. So it's not, I never say things like this to say, oh yeah, we're in a bear market, I'm a bear or stuff like this. I say this just to be aware of it, just so that you can limit.
But that's where
your
risk
downside if
you
know
have to be
that's
prepared for the other side as well instead of up only.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think obviously up only is a bit of a meme, but I do genuinely think that some people believe that it should just go up. You know, and it's not necessarily their fault. Markets have been like that for over 10 years, apart from, you know, March 2020 and maybe Volmageddon back in January 2018. Yeah. But it's all, you know, preserving your capital's paramount, isn't it?
See,
you know that.
There's one question I wanted to ask you, right? So my perspective, it's
Yeah.
easy, right, for, like, you know, normal retail to put loads of money in, because that loads of money is fuck all, really. But even when we hear about institutions coming in, right, how much are they really putting in, you know, the assets they manage? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah,
They're not really putting that much in compared to, you know, it's just big names coming in and people think, wow, but really, how much are they really putting in, apart from the one or two odd guy?
Yeah, I think it's really just to get some exposure to volatility, perhaps. You know, I think it's liquid enough that they don't necessarily have to be concerned about liquidity risk anymore. Right. And they just want to allocate maybe, you know, I don't know which asset manager we can think of. BlackRock, for example, would be like 0.0000001% perhaps. Yeah. But still, you know, they manage something like $3 trillion. So it's a hell of a lot of cash. But, you know, it's really just to get exposure to an asset class that has volatility, you know, and can.
No, sorry, Karen.
No, yeah, it's just, you know, to get exposure to an asset class that can have like 10 sigma returns. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
Like such massive outsized returns
for big reward. And this is why I think people don't realize on Twitter, these big players, they're not putting massive percentages of their, assets on there. But the little they do is because Bitcoin has the potential of such. It's like a market I've never seen before. The growth potential on this. It's just like, even though FX and traditional markets are slow, but it's safer. It's about how safe is your capital. I can put, long term, Bitcoin may go up 1,000%. But the drawdown it has, I've got billions on the line. Am I really going to take a 50% shave on that billion I put in?
No, exactly. And, for them, as I mentioned, the liquidity element is there. But the problem is that I think there's less, how do I put it? Basically, when the shit hits the fan, there's less ability for the market to hold up, as in traditional assets.
Yeah.
And it ends up, going further. So that's one thing that they're always going to be wary about, because they don't want to get in the position when they're at a solvency risk on one part of their portfolio.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about risk. It's just a different perspective, isn't it? From a retail perspective, they don't mind. They need that 100x. But from a big player perspective, like institutions, they don't need that kind of headache. It's just too dangerous. But we'll take that bit of risk on. See how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
I'm just going to answer Exo's question. Your twin.
Yes. Ask questions, by the way. If you got any questions for David, put it in the live chat, and he'll get through whatever he can do.
So what my view on Bitcoin is, I don't think it's a currency because it simply just doesn't have the stability yet to be a currency. I do see it as a speculative asset, but at the same time, I see everything as a speculative asset. I see it as something that can be traded. I don't necessarily trade it a lot. But it's like anything, I really don't give a fuck about FX pairs. I just see if it fits. It basically is a way, assets and things that I can trade are ways for me to express my view of the world, okay? And some assets allow me to express that view better than others. If you want to get long Bitcoin, you're getting long, kind of a hyper exuberance almost, because it's a volatile asset, it can fly, but conversely that it can fall really hard as well. But we've not seen an asset class that has had such massive growth than Bitcoin. So I still don't understand people who are so anti crypto. You do tend to see that they're maybe 50, 60 plus year olds. And obviously the boomer meme can come up. But it doesn't make sense because they'll be so less dogmatic in other parts of looking at the market. They'll be impartial. But when it comes to crypto, they're like, fucking hate it. It's all for idiots. Do you know what I mean? Stupid.
I think we're always going to get that, especially you can't teach old dog new tricks. But at the same time, I can understand as well. Like, Buffett came up with his talk whatever yesterday, and so many taking the piss out of him. You got to remember, right, this guy's worth over 100 billion. First and foremost, those that are taking the piss out of him ain't going to get a 10% to where he's at. But it's all about safety of money then.
Yeah.
I mean, I trade differently. Let's take it back to what people can relate to, right? Instead of this stuff. I trade differently. I traded different when I was on small amounts compared to now. Like certain, like you get these altcoins, right? Zero liquidity in almost, a couple of 100,000 traded, but you cannot get your size on you want, and then those same people take the piss out of people just trading Bitcoin and Ethereum. Well, those bigger players can only get that liquidity in Bitcoin and Ethereum. I mean, on these low cap ones, they can't get the size they want. So even if it does 1,000x, is it really worth their time? So I think a lot of the audience understand that concept of when you're on a certain level, trading is not what you think it is. And those 5-10% gains are 5-10% on millions or billions compared to a couple of thousand. So the game changes. So I think a lot of people don't understand that, I made 1,000x on this. But 1,000x when you got in, how much was the liquidity?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to. If you're a small trader, you don't have to worry about liquidity. When you start getting bigger, that's when you have to be like, oh fuck, how do I get into this market the easiest? When I was broking, sometimes you'd see a fund would be getting into a position maybe over 3-4 weeks, because the only opportunities they'd have to get in would be like maybe once a day, without moving the market too much. You know, literally in some smaller stocks, that's what they'd be doing for ages. So it's a totally different ball game when it comes to managing a larger amount of capital. And you just really don't have the same concerns when you're trading smaller. I mean, in traditional markets, you know, you probably don't have to worry about that until you're like, you know, literally trading billions. But absolutely in crypto, you know, it's a totally different story, because you'll be getting maybe an altcoin that has what, maybe 500 grand daily turnover or something like that at the beginning. So who the fuck's gonna be able to get into that easily?
Yes, I think it's, you know, simple stuff like that. People, a lot of the audience, they don't seem to understand. It is a different ball game. And this is why, you know, like people say, oh, you know, FX done 30 pips. But those 30 pips, I could put so much size on compared to, like, you know, any crypto. But so it's all relative.
Yeah,
Everything is relative. You know, liquidity.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And also, you know, you've got less slippage as well.
Yeah,
in FX.
a big thing. Slippage. You know, when you're dealing with massive amounts, that slippage is worth a lot compared to, you know, you don't care about a couple of hundred slippage.
No, exactly. You know, you can get in within, you know, a tenth of a tick and out within a tenth of a tick. Whereas probably in crypto, I remember I was trading fucking tendies. Well, not trading.
Yeah, I remember that. You went on some fucking Uniswap pipe. I remember you went on that Uniswap pipe months ago. I'm thinking, no ways, David trading tendies. What the fuck the world's come to?
Do you want to know why? Because what I recognise is the power of just a narrative. That's how I trade. I trade based off of narratives, right? I'm very discretionary. And tendies was such a fucking joke. Like, it was literally based off of a chicken nugget. How can it not go up? You know, because if there's one person, if I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is a meme, I'm gonna buy some. There's got to be loads of other people thinking the same thing. You know, it had absolutely no chance of doing anything, but for that 1-2 week period, you know, it was worth a punt. And then obviously, just from trading that, I got the Uniswap airdrop, which was great. So yeah, it worked out well.
Did you buy a PlayStation 5 with it? Like everybody else did.
What's that?
I spent the Uniswap airdrop on PlayStation 5, PS5s. Remember that came out? PS5s came out as well, didn't they? But anyways, that's a separate thing.
Yeah. Is anyone even buying PS5s anymore?
I don't know, but no, back then, I mean, a lot of people spent their airdrop saying, yes, airdrop was spent on PS5. But yeah, anyway, now it's worth God knows how much. That uni.
No, exactly. I know, it's ridiculous.
That's cool. I mean,
I think I sold out and went on an expensive dinner. But
no, are you finding yourself trading crypto more? I mean, I was full on FX before. Now, I mean, FX so dead. It's just like crypto. The opportunities in crypto, I've never seen anything matched. It's like, I mean, I'm not massive, but I'm big enough and to get the, you know, size I wanted. I mean, there's nothing out there that's as volatile.
No, I know. I mean, if you compare, okay, so I'm going to bring up a chart of euro volatility here. Let's be in the details. So if you look at euro volatility here, it's just shit. Right? Like, you're looking at the trend down in basically currency volatility, if you want. It's just been dominated by central bank shite. I mean, you can see from 2015, look at the higher average. The averages were so much higher back here. This is when you were having much bigger swings per day.
Like 100, 150 pips, I remember, you know, the good old days in euro. Now.
Yeah. Now you'll get maybe 50, 60. I mean, the end of last week was all right, but, you know, it's a tough market. It's a really tough market to make money in. And it's predominantly due to, you know, the central banks doing their shy. So when you're considering as a retail trader, okay, that might have traditionally been in FX, for example, it makes absolute perfect sense, especially if you're a technical based trader like yourself, to look at crypto, because you can just make more money.
Yeah. It's like it's just
Do
milky
you know what I
while it
mean? I mean,
lasts.
well, I think,
Yeah, it's milky while it lasts until things shift.
yeah, exactly. Now the problem is that obviously it will come to an end at some point, the bull run. But you know, I guess then it's a buying opportunity for those strong assets. I think the strongest assets that have the greatest chance of survival are the exchange tokens. Any exchange token, I think, to get your hands
What's your
on,
reason for
because
that? Just so the
what they
audience
are.
knows.
What's that? Sorry.
What is your reason for exchange tokens? Just so you know, instead of people asking.
Right. Okay. So BNB, for example, where are we? So look at BNB, FTT. You've got your Uniswap, obviously. You know, these kind of tokens whereby, and I've actually written on this. Let me find it. Basically, the whole point behind it is that you don't want to get long these tokens whereby you can just get dumped on, because I think the biggest issue is that you need to protect your left tail risk. So if you look at bell curve, might be getting a bit complex here, but a normal distribution isn't exhibited by crypto. It's very what's known as leptokurtic. So you've got the ability to go really, really, really high in terms of price, but also the ability to go really, really low.
Yeah.
Now, the difference I find between exchange tokens and many other crypto projects is that the founders aren't forced to sell the exchange token because they're making money elsewhere. Okay, so they're basically what's known as long convexity. That's from the bond trading world. So that's kind of where I'm trying to bring traditional financial concepts over into the crypto stuff to make sense of it to myself. But yeah, the exchange tokens, I think, are the strongest sort of, how do I put it, into crypto asset class, if that makes sense. That you can probably get on board with. Obviously, alongside Ethereum and Bitcoin, but they make the most sense to me purely from that perspective.
It also incentivize it as well. You know, the benefits you get for holding the exchange token, this, that, the other. It's crazy what BNB's done. It's madness.
I know, mate. It's literally like, look at this run. Look at this run. It's absolutely ridiculous. So where are we trading down there? Like mad.
So now, like, this is what,
I
had to change so much of my rules when I was trading from FX background. Like, take profit, and a lot of the rules I've just broken. I keep the core ones there. Sorry, what are you saying?
Could you imagine, right? Could you imagine if you were bid here? Okay, let's say it broke this low here. Okay, you would bid right here. Okay, let's say, for example, who the fuck would have thought it would rally up there? You know, you'd probably be exiting here if you were looking at a traditional
exactly. So many of my
market
trades have been like that, because you don't expect the percentage returns to be so astronomical. It's like it's new to me.
I know.
This sort of stuff is new to me.
No,
like,
exactly.
I've never seen it before.
You know, it is pretty fucking crazy, to be honest.
So,
but I guess the one good thing that I'd notice about being able to trade crypto is that there are a lot of things that do happen just again and again. You know, almost every continuation pattern on the exchange tokens ends up working. It's just.
But do you think that's because
crazy?
It's in a season where everything's going up? Because, you know,
yeah, you know, you could be absolutely.
That's the one thing, you know. I think I find what is instead of taking profit is, well, you do take profit, but just the windows you get for the, you know, bull season. Just keep milking it until, like, this is something like XO talks about a lot. As long as, you know, FBTC and Bitcoin haven't started to turn, and the odds were still going up, instead of taking profit, it's just like, fuck technicals. Once they start turning, then start, you know, taking out.
Yeah. I think when I'm trading FX and it's in a, you know, I tend to hold FX positions for a pretty long time, especially if I can own carry on the position. But the way that I look at getting out of markets is really never to use a take profit.
Yeah.
and to look at volatility measures. So in FX, for example, I look at the daily at the money implied volatility, and then find out the expected move from there. So, you know, I might find out that the weekly expected move is, say, 3%. So then I'll shove a stop at 3.5%, because what I don't want to do is get out of a position too early. I don't mind giving some back, but getting out of a position too early is gut wrenching, you know, because you just don't know when the position's going to end.
We've spoken of is, if you do get out, have a plan to get back in. So you said that with FX, right? Do you have that as a tool like that for crypto?
It can be developed. I think you'd need to look at the options data. So you need to find the daily at the money implied volatility for Bitcoin. I guess there are Bitcoin options on the CME, but they're not that liquid. So let's have a look at this.
You get some free alpha here, everybody.
Let's have a look. And then basically what you do is you just divide the daily at the money implied volatility by the square root of 352, because that's the amount of trading days in a year. No, they don't have it. This makes more sense. Could use that. Daily at the money implied volatility. Let me just do an example. Let's say that this is the number that we wanted to use, okay?
Okay.
So we use the 30-day estimate here. Then we do 3.58 divided by so we would be looking at, hang on, that's not making sense to me though. No, that number's wrong. Let's do it on the next video. I'll get it sorted properly. I'll do it then.
No worries. Don't want to put you in the spot.
Yeah. Need to get the right data.
So, is there any final points you want to end the stream with? Because I think we're going to be on our time. But it's our first session, okay? I mean, this wasn't planned, last minute thing. So, now I'm going to bring David on many times. So, if you could ask sort of stuff you want, David can prepare for it. But yeah, David, is there anything you want to round it off with?
No, mate. Just to remember that left tail protection. That's all.
Also,
just remember that
you also run macro-DZ as well. So, do you speak about crypto much often? I mean, I'm in there, but it's mainly obviously traditional markets. But you're starting to bring more crypto stuff in there as well. So, do you want to talk about that? Sort of stuff you're doing there?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, you know, I'm seeing more and more crossover with crypto and the macro environment, because, you know, larger players, they're forced to focus on looking at the macro stuff to balance their portfolios. I think it's a very, very valid asset class. You know, I'm by no means an expert, but what I do know is that I can put across my view on the world in a way that is easily digestible. And it's basically sifting through the bullshit. There's a lot of shite out there. Especially from people at like Real Vision, for example.
Yeah.
It's just total bollocks and just leading people down a garden path, you know. So yeah, if you are interested in looking at the macro a bit deeper, joining a really good community, we do have a crypto chat in there as well, then just give me a shout, sign up, and we'll get you in the Discord, and you can get receiving the articles.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. I've learned some stuff. There's some. I mean, I'm not big into crossing them over, but yeah. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you follow David. He's got 2 handles: @macrodisiac and @David Bell. Check him out, and hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Use the link in the description. PrimeXBT, free Telegram group as well. And I'll catch you guys next week. Take care. Nice one, mate.
Nice one, sweet.